Here's something that might really surprise you. The smartest people in a room are rarely the loudest ones. They aren't the ones who give the quickest answers, defend the most confident opinions, or get into pointless arguments. In fact, you might not even notice them if you walked right past them on the street. This is no coincidence. People with high cognitive abilities actually behave this way in the real world. We've been sold a very specific image of what a brilliant and powerful mind looks like. Someone who speaks in complete sentences, someone who has an answer for everything, someone who displays their intelligence as if it were a personality trait. However, cognitive psychology paints a very different picture. Research shows that the most reliable indicators of a very high IQ are not striking or obvious. These are traits that are not particularly noticeable, ordinary, and easily misinterpreted or may go completely unnoticed. And this is precisely what makes this topic so important. If you've ever been told that you think too much, spend too much time alone, or ask too many questions, you'd be wise to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Here are the 10 habits that psychologists consistently observe in people with exceptionally high IQs, and almost none of them are what you'd expect. Think about this. It's Saturday afternoon and most people are out and about. You chose to stay home not because you had to, but because something inside you truly needed the silence. This isn't introversion. It isn't social anxiety. It's the moment when your prefrontal cortex functions at its best. The prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for complex thinking, planning, and deep reflection, operates most efficiently in environments with minimal stimulation. According to research from the London School of Economics, individuals with high intelligence report lower life satisfaction when engaged in frequent social interaction compared to those of average intelligence. Their brains are structured in a way that doesn't require social interaction to the same extent. For such a mind, solitude is not emptiness. It is the place where true thinking and heightened awareness occur. It's not just about big issues. It's about everything. Why does that person always act that way? Why was this system designed this way and not another? Why does that sentence feel different depending on who says it and how it's said? High IQ individuals don't turn their curiosity on for important topics and off for ordinary ones. They possess a constant sense of curiosity. Their brains continuously process pattern recognition across conversations, systems, behaviors, and structures. Therefore, curiosity isn't a hobby. It's an operating system. This phenomenon surprises people. However, the scientific reality behind it is clear. Psychologists call this self-talk, and research shows that this method actively enhances focus, cognitive control, and working memory. When a person with high cognitive intelligence voices their thoughts aloud, this is not strange behavior. This person is articulating these thoughts to manage complex mental processes more efficiently. This behavior, which may seem like a strange habit, is actually a high-performance cognitive tool. This is exactly where things get interesting. In psychology, there is a concept known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. This refers to the tendency of people with limited knowledge to dramatically overestimate how much they understand. Highly intelligent individuals, on the other hand, tend to experience the exact opposite. The more they know, the more clearly they see the limits of what they don't know. Therefore, when a brilliant mind says, "I don't know," it is not ignorance. It is a level of intellectual honesty that most people will never reach. An analytical mind has no off switch. The mental mechanism that solves complex problems can also replay a Friday conversation over and over for 40 minutes, examine a decision from 7 different angles, or map out 18 possible outcomes of an event that will likely be irrelevant a week later. From the outside, this looks like indecision. From the inside, however, the brain runs multiple models simultaneously, tests variables, identifies edge cases, and prepares for outcomes others haven't yet considered. That's why you think so much. Not because something is wrong, because everything is going right. Let's pause for a moment and think. Because if you recognize yourself in these habits, you've likely spent time wondering whether the way your brain works is actually a problem. Thinking so much, needing so much solitude, questioning so many things, does that mean something isn't right? No, it doesn't. What you're reading isn't a list of oddities. It's the profile of a mind that perceives and processes the world at a deeper level than most people do. And understanding this changes everything. Humor is a cognitively demanding process. To create something truly funny, your brain must identify patterns, subvert expectations at just the right moment, and merge two unrelated ideas into a single coherent surprise. Studies published in Intelligens research journals have shown a measurable correlation between high IQ and advanced humor processing ability. The funniest person in the room isn't just acting like a joker. They're performing complex cognitive processes, and they make it look effortless. Most people view their beliefs as part of their identity. Changing one's mind makes them feel like they've failed, as if they've admitted defeat. Highly intelligent people don't think this way. They view their beliefs as working hypotheses that are useful until better information becomes available. When new evidence emerges, the model is updated clearly and without ego. Psychologists call this cognitive flexibility, and it is one of the strongest predictors of advanced problem-solving ability. Being willing to be wrong is what ultimately makes it possible to be right. Most people view their beliefs as part of their identity. Changing one's mind makes them feel like they've failed, as if they've admitted defeat. Highly intelligent people don't think this way. They view their beliefs as working hypotheses that are useful until better information becomes available. When new evidence emerges, the model is updated clearly and without ego. Psychologists call this cognitive flexibility, and it is one of the strongest predictors of advanced problem-solving ability. Being willing to be wrong is what ultimately makes it possible to be right. In any conversation, a highly intelligent person usually does something others don't notice. That person observes. They analyze tone of voice, track emotional shifts, and discern the discrepancy between what someone says and the message conveyed by their body language. They gather information before formulating a response because for them, understanding the bigger picture is more important than simply filling the silence. This may appear as hesitation or disinterest, as if they aren't paying attention. Yet they are paying far more attention than anyone else in the room. It's not always philosophical or dramatic. Sometimes it's a question that quietly lingers in the background of everyday life. Why do we think this way? Why do people always make the same choices? Beneath the surface, what truly matters? High intelligence brings an awareness of complexity that never fades in relationships, systems, society, and the self. And with this awareness comes an almost gravitational pull toward seeking meaning, the need to understand not just what is, but why it is. Here are the things the world constantly misinterprets about minds like yours. Apparently you come across as antisocial, indecisive, odd, eccentric, too quiet, someone who overthinks everything, and so on. In reality, however, you possess high cognitive abilities such as cognitive selectivity, the ability to run multiple mental models simultaneously, an unconventional information processing model, the ability to observe before responding, and advanced pattern recognition. Intelligence isn't designed to make a flashy impression in real time. It's not a performance. It's a quiet, continuous process that's easy to miss until you understand what you're looking at. If these 10 habits feel familiar to you not as goals, but as a reflection of how you experience the world, then something important has happened. You didn't just read a list. You saw yourself more clearly. The solitude you cherish. The questions you keep asking. The way you remain silent in rooms while your mind processes everything at once. Humor. Flexibility. The relentless quest to uncover what's truly real beneath the surface. These aren't random traits. They're the signature of a mind that refuses to stay on the surface. And this kind of mind isn't always recognized early on. It isn't always loudly praised. But it finds its place in the right conversations, the right solutions, and the right moments when a genuine connection is formed. Don't betray your potential by limiting the way your brain works just to make things easier for those who think more superficially. One last thing before I go. Which of these 10 habits resonates with you the most? Write the number in the comments. I read them all, and the answers always reveal something fascinating about the people watching this video. And if someone comes to mind while you're watching someone extraordinary, whose intelligence often goes unnoticed, share this with them. Being appreciated is a rare gift. This channel is built around a single idea. There are patterns in your mind that are worth understanding, hidden forces that have never been fully named. And the more clearly you see how your mind truly works, the more consciously you can use it. If this kind of self-knowledge matters to you, subscribe. Not because the algorithm needs it, but because you do.